Hello and welcome to another edition of the Saintly Sounder, your source for all things FIFA. Alright, no video yesterday for obvious reasons. That price ban shock kind of really required all of my attention. I was really focused on seeing what I needed to do because things changed so greatly. So I thought today, instead of doing a Condreva review, which I had planned, I want to discuss price bans. I think there's a lot of confusion, a lot of doubt, a lot of questions, and I thought I could discuss it a little bit to help you guys out. Alright, so in case you've been living under a rock, this is what a price ban is. It's essentially the range in which EA tells you can list and buy players. This means from now on, Ronaldo will go for 6.2 to 9.3 million. You can't list him for under that, and you can't list him for higher than that. And anywhere within that range, you're free to list the players for what you think they're worth. Alright, so first we're going to start off with what was bad, or what is bad about this whole price ban situation. On a whole, I think it's good, but I'll discuss that later. Here's what's bad, though. Especially on the PS4, and a little bit to some extent on the Xbox, there's going to be the extinction of players that EA did not ban properly. You could see Roberto Carlos, who honestly I think is properly priced now, but because the market had determined his value was 8 million, no one wants to sell him now, and he's functionally extinct. Alright, and the second bad thing is that it locks you into what you're worth. I feel like this, judging from the way it's working, is that the poor players are going to stay poor. If you didn't have a high value player before and you didn't have any coins in the bank, you're not going to get one now. It seems like it's going to be a lot harder to get some of the players, especially the informs. It'll be interesting to see what happens today with where they price lock these informs, because if they don't do it correctly, Team of the Week may never really be the same again, which would be really unfortunate. It's one of the best ways to try out new players. Alright, and one of the things that really grinds my gears is that it rewards prior cheating. If you had Team of the Year Ronaldo through buying coins, essentially now you still have him, and you have 15 million coins, and now those coins go even further. So really, you got rewarded for cheating, and I know they had to do it, but at the same time, I really would have liked those people who bought millions and millions of coins to not be rewarded for their behavior. And that goes into the last point about it polarizing at the price bands. And right now what you're seeing is that about 95% of the players are either at the very bottom of their price band or at the very top of their price band. And if they're at the bottom, you can't sell them for even the lowest price, and if they're at the top, it's becoming really hard to get them and they're starting to go extinct. I think EA needed to be a little more fluid with the price bands, especially at the start with the market kind of going crazy. Again, I'd really prefer if there was no bottom range. I think that would allow the market to actually crash amongst itself. If, say, Neymar or something dropped down 200,000, that would bring the rest of the players lower than him down as well. Ronaldo's hovering almost right at that 6.2, 6.3 range. If he were to go down, it would bring a lot of the market down with him, and it really alleviates some of the problems caused by inflation. But since there is that bottom range, it is actually keeping the market somewhat high, which is the exact opposite of the intention EA, I think, wanted with this new price ban implementation. Alright, so after all those bad things, though, there are some good things that are going to come with this new price ban, and that's first is that coin selling is going to get a lot harder. I have no delusions that it's going to stop, but I imagine it's going to become a lot more difficult, hopefully a lot more obvious if someone's buying coins, and make it easier to stop those people. And second, it proves that EA is trying to do something. At this point, that's all I really ask from them, is that they actually try to change the market. It was getting out of control. No player should be worth 10 million coins. It's just out of control. And I'm glad they kind of stepped in to do something. I would have preferred if they had given some warning, although that might have defeated the purpose, but also, buying power should increase, which is always nice. If you had a lot of coins before the price ban, you should be able to buy just about anyone. I picked back up second in form Ishko for 160k. He was going for 260k. I did lose a lot of coins, but I also am able to try a couple new players now that the price ban seems to have eliminated some of that really ridiculous pricing that you sometimes see. Also, now for a lot of beginners, you know exactly how much to save, exactly how much to put a player up for, and not get burned. Although this is going to hurt trading, I think it's ultimately a good thing. I can't tell you how many times I've tried to buy a player that's, say, like 3 million coins. I sell my whole team, and all of a sudden he's at 3.8 within an hour. And you just feel so robbed. You lost so much in EA tax. It's just kind of ridiculous. So I'm glad that the price band's kind of there to prevent this like rampant explosion of prices within under 30 minutes. I think that's ridiculous. And it also makes it so silver informs might be affordable. Right now, silver's are basically a market that you can't really tap into unless you go all in for them, because the silvers are just so expensive. Now with the price band, I think we'll be able to actually use some informed silvers, which could be really, really exciting because some of them are really good. And again, yes, this should work much better for FIFA 16 when the inflation is not as big of a factor as it is this year. I am going to discuss what I think the price band starting limit should be in a minute, but ultimately I think this is going to work a lot better next year. I don't understand why they couldn't implement it next year instead of doing it right now in the middle of a very odd time before Team of the Season and after Team of the Year. One big myth, and I bought into it as well, is trading is not impossible. I'm not going to tell you who I found, but if you can find a player, for example, that isn't polarized, and there's a couple, it's going to be kind of hard to find. It'll take you a while, but if you find a player that isn't at the highest point or isn't at the lowest point, you can still trade, you can still bin snipe, and if anything, I found it a little easier. So you can still see that trading is a viable option. It's just going to be a little harder, it's going to be a little different, and it's going to take a little more time, but it still is present, and I'm okay with that. Alright, so here's my take on it. EA needed to do this. I would have preferred they do it during Team of the Year, where they could really set the prices of the top-end players and just get back ahead of the market. Right now they haven't. Team of the Year players are very rare. Now that they've tried to set those prices a little bit lower, you'd see them just go straight extinct. If they had done this during the Team of the Year, when prices were already showing signs of massive inflation, they could have gotten over the top of it. If they say Messi's or Ronaldo's worth 10 million, his Team of the Year card, then that's really going to set the high point for the market, and everything else would work itself out. They could have done this after Team of the Season, when less players are available. There's also higher range cards where they could set the prices for. People are going to want to sell those. Time will tell. That's still 2 months away. Team of the Season might actually be a blessing. It might save this a little bit here as we get other price ranges, but it all depends how EA handles these newly released cards. The Welbeck and Delph release just went horribly because everyone is just so greedy about it. And lastly, blame the YouTubers for all this. I don't promote coins, but there are so many more people that do. It's really annoying. They are directly responsible. I mean, the coin sellers are one thing, but there wouldn't be a coin selling market if it wasn't for guys like KSI or something with millions of subscribers telling people to buy coins. These people, and some of you guys are young as well, they're very impressionable. $20 is taking the easy way out. I know packs are shit, but you can follow my lead with trading, or you can play games. Players, you should be able to acquire the best players through playing the game, and coin selling and the act of promoting coin buying just kind of ruins the chances you ever have of that, and that's why I'm so against it. And that's why I blame a lot of those guys, the massive YouTubers who've been promoting coin selling. They don't see anything wrong with it because they're not the ones actually selling the coins, but they're the ones that caused this. They're the ones that ruined everything. They got so greedy that they ended up cooking the golden goose, and honestly, they're the ones that should be getting a lot of the anger. Alright, so here's what I suggest for next year. I just threw out these numbers based on my experience. This is what I think the price band should be. Ronaldo and Messi should be 2 million coins next year. And that is based on the assumption that if you play 1,000 games, you'll have 2 million match coins. Ronaldo, without any trading, should be attainable if you play the game a lot. And if you trade, you should be able to get to him somewhat difficultly, but still out of the range that every single person will have him. Same with Pele. You should have to be able to do something extra to be able to afford Pele. He shouldn't be worth 15 million. He should be worth a little more than the most you can get by responsibly playing a lot of the game. But that's just my view. If you have a different price band, of course, you can leave it in the comments. As always, if you found this all interesting or helpful, like and subscribe. I'm on Twitch at the Saintly Sounder and on Twitter at the Red Death 329. Until next time, see you on the pitch.